Hey, what's up? If you play Madden NFL 26, you follow the patch cycle for sports titles, you probably saw the little download hit your console early February. It's the update 1.014.0 patch, and it brings a mix of fixes, tweaks, and a couple of changes that matter depending on whether you live in franchise mode, ultimate team, or just like to grind solo games. The first thing I want to say is that this wasn't a giant overhaul. It's a sort of mid-cycle tune-up that tries to smooth bumps rather than rewrite how the whole game plays. But there are definite fixes in here that were bothering a lot of people. And some of them are the kind of tiny quality of life corrections that actually change how you experience a session. The build was recorded as going out on February 4th, 2026, which matches the rollout timeframe most outlets tracked. A hugely talked about item in community threads has been menu responsiveness, especially for franchise and moot players. Folks were reporting sluggish menus and long waits to transition between screens, which can kill momentum when you're trying to hop through scouting, roster moves, or packs. The patch specifically lists fixes aimed at menu responsiveness and general stability, so if you've been sitting through extra delays, this update is the one that's supposed to address that behavior. That said, community reports are mixed about whether everything is fully fixed, or if some players still see lag depending on platform and the size of their franchise saves. On the gameplay side, there's a neat little AI correction that's easy to laugh at, but maddening to play against. AI quarterbacks occasionally sprinting out of bounds, even when clean scramble lanes were available. You know the moment the QB jukes has an open field and then chooses to run to the sideline with nobody around, handing the defense a free stop. The update includes a fix to tighten those decision trees, so AI quarterbacks are less likely to bail out of open lanes. If you're someone who watches pocket dynamics closely, that change alone will feel meaningful. Franchise progression also got attention. A regression bug was causing some younger quarterbacks to take an unintended hit in development at the end of the season, which is the exact kind of thing that ruins a multi-year franchise save if you like to develop your own stars. The patch aimed to correct progression logic, so QB regression behaves as intended and your developmental investments don't disappear overnight. Players who manage long-term saves should check their rosters on progression after loading the updated game to confirm their player growth looks correct. There were also adjustments to X Factor and Superstar designations, which a lot of competitive players watch closely because those abilities can tilt matchups. Some talents were rebalanced or reassigned to better reflect how players actually performed this season, and EA promised the changes would help bring certain over or underperforming abilities back in line. If you build teams around specific X factors, it's worth scanning your active roster to see if anyone picked up or lost a designation after the update. Beyond those highlights, stability and crash fixes are sprinkled through the notes. People were seeing launches fail or encountering hard crashes in a handful of situations, and this patch includes a number of stability improvements intended to reduce those interruptions across platforms. It won't magically eliminate every possible crash, but the hope is fewer random exits and a cleaner experience overall. I want to be honest about the reality of small patches like this. They tend to be a mixed bag. On one hand, you get clear bug fixes for annoying, repeatable problems. The AI decision fix and the franchise progression fix are good examples. On the other hand, some updates introduce new edge case regressions, which is why community threads lit up with both gratitude and frustration. There was immediate praise for the AI fix, but simultaneous complaints that menu lag remained, or in some cases, reappeared for certain players. That back and forth is normal when a live service title gets incremental updates, and it's why EA and the developer teams keep pushing smaller updates rather than fewer massive ones. From a creator standpoint, what's interesting is how these mid-cycle patches change priorities. If you're a competitive player, X-Factor changes can alter matchup strategies and fantasy-style lineups. If you're a franchise diehard, the progression and menu fixes are the stuff that keeps your save playable across seasons. If you're a MUT player, stability and UI responsiveness directly affect how fast you can grind objectives and jump into games. The patch is targeted, not revolutionary, but meaningful in context. There's also a cultural component to these updates. The community reaction is part of the experience now. Threads on official forums and social platforms are full of immediate feedback, and that rapid loop helps surface regressions faster than developer testing alone. It's messy sometimes. Players can be loud and impatient, but that intensity also pressures teams to prioritize fixes that matter for long-term retention. Expect conversations to keep evolving as more players test the update across platforms and report corner cases. Okay, so what should you actually notice after installing this update? Menus should feel snappier for many players. AI QBs should make better scramble decisions. Progression for young quarterbacks should no longer unexpectedly regress at season's end. Some X Factor and Superstar assignments have been tweaked, and overall stability should be somewhat improved. Keep in mind platform differences and individual save file quirks. Not everyone will have the exact same experience, but those are the core practical takeaways that will change how you play minute to minute. That's the long and short of this update, a focused set of fixes and adjustments that aim to smooth gameplay and correct some of the nagging bugs the community has been flagging. If you've been frustrated by any of the specific issues mentioned, try loading your game after the update and watch the behavior in the affected areas. Franchise progression screens, QB scramble situations, and the MU and franchise menus, and judge for yourself whether it moved the needle for your playstyle.